town meeting to order. I don't see the flag here. Yeah, we moved. Sorry about that. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say, there was some discussion that people thought that the meeting was supposed to be tomorrow night, and we don't have that in our minutes. But if the audience so chooses, we can adjourn this meeting right now and select another date. It just has to be published as a class 2 notice, which is 2 insertions in the newspaper within the next 30 days.
I thought it was 10. So
That's, I'm just putting it out there if anyone wants it. So, so then I guess I would call for an approval of the agenda, and everyone's been given a copy of the agenda. And board members are just like people sitting out there. Everyone out there has a vote, so I have a vote. The only thing I can't do is I'm not allowed to make a motion. Board members can. That's just a
Make a motion to accept the agenda as
Johnson.
I'll second it.
Ben Hirschman. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as posted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next is the annual meeting, which was last year, Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. Unfortunately, I was not able to be at the meeting last year. I had an out-of-town family emergency, so the minutes are here. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the April annual meeting as 2023. I question minutes.
Okay.
On the second page of the minutes, second paragraph, Jones made a motion to adopt resolution 04/2023A. It says 15,000, is that not supposed to be 15 million?
yes.
Correct. It was 15 million, would you be in favor of it, or 15,000?
15,000 probably wouldn't have cost so much.
Good catch, man.
I believe it's there twice as 15,000 instead of what I did mark it on the paper.
Okay, so is that a second with those corrections?
I second with the correction.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the annual town meeting minutes on Tuesday, April 18, 2023, with the corrections noted of 15,000, 15 million. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We also have another set of minutes from a special October special town meeting, October 10th, 2023. And that one also has 15,000. So. So I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the correction of the 15,000 and 15 million.
We have a second. A second to we have a motion and a second to approve the special town meeting minutes Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, with a correction from 15,000 to 15 million. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Annual financial report. So we go over this every year, and let me just explain to the public. Our auditor is Clifton Larson, and we do not ever have an audited report for the public at this meeting. That's just based on, we don't have any control over when they do our audit. They're just now reaching out to Bryn and their fact finding, and Samantha getting information to get ready for the audit. So what we have is a budget report that's unaudited. So So we're looking at this document right here. Oh, sorry, this one. I would entertain a motion to accept. Okay,
You need a motion.
yes,
I'll make a motion that we pass on this and accept it at the meeting, whatever it is.
and I would like to have it worded accept as opposed to approve, because it is on our, so.
I'll second.
Okay. We have, John, we have a motion and a second to accept the annual financial report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Audience participation. So this is the portion of the meeting where people from the town can address the board, or even just address everyone in the public here about concerns you may have or interest in the town. I know I can speak a little bit towards the facility here. After the October 10th meeting, there was a decision made. Even prior to that, there was a facility plan commission, and it was agreed to continue with the facility plan commission. And that's a board made up of, advisory committee made up of 9 members, of which none are board members. And so this committee has gone through and they made a recommendation to the town board to do a request for proposals to do a facility condition analysis on this entire structure. Now, we had one done a few years back, but it was done by Legend Architect. Nothing wrong with what they did, but it was not in depth. It was a superficial assessment. This is a really deep assessment where it goes through, it's not only buildings, it's grounds too, because this area right here where we're at, this was an old sawmill once in a day, and we've had settlement in this building. A lot of the things in here are also not up to code, and frankly, it's drastically undersized. So we went through and we took the recommendation of the Facility Planning Commission. We put together a request for proposals. We sent them out to 6 firms. We had 4 firms respond. We decided to interview all 4 firms, and it was the town board and 2 members of the Facility Planning Commission, which made up a 5-person interview committee. We had a set of standardized questions. We had a criteria rating sheet, so we rated each of the consultants' numerical value, and we came to a consensus. And that committee then recommended to the town board to award the proposal to the firm of Kraus Anderson. I can tell you the other 3 firms that we interviewed were Market and Johnson, Northwest Builders, and F out of Altoona. Those are the 4 that we interviewed. And we feel very confident in this firm. They are also the same firm that took the school and took them from a failed referendum to a passed referendum. And so not only do they look at the structure and everything, they're going to assist us in getting from point A to point B. Ultimately, point C would be a new building, hopefully, or some type of thing. But it isn't just, they're not coming in here and saying, we're going to raise this structure. They analyzed everything. It might be that this portion is not usable. Maybe that portion is. Or maybe this whole thing could be retooled, and maybe we have a standalone. That's what we hired for. This is out of our area of expertise. And I wish, back in 2018, 2019, when we had the first kick at the cat before the courtroom condition, before the school referendum, we were the first ones that went to the well, and we didn't do it right. And I'm one of the people who was on that board. We thought we knew what we were doing. no disrespect to the people, myself included, the chairman at the time. We thought we were doing a good thing, but it was out of our league. It was something we didn't know about. We tried a little flyer, we tried some open houses, and just didn't do it. So that's what I have on the facility. If anyone else, do you have something?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the town of Hayward board the power to sign a contract or contracts to have the facilities condition assessment on all current structures and the soil condition assessment completed in 2024. This comprehensive analysis may require the need for 2 separate companies or individuals to be contracted to complete the analytical evaluation of all structures and the detailed soil analysis of the grounds. That's
Okay.
a motion.
Okay, so just for clarification, that motion was passed last Tuesday by the board.
Cool.
Yeah, the board's already authorized that firm to be selected, and I haven't signed a contract yet, but that's just because of logistics. So we already had that motion.
You also have a second portion to that stating that they would also work for a referendum. And I'm saying, let's do the analysis of everything first. And the reason being is that there's 2 people who left the facility, resigned from the facility planning committee. And so now we have new members that are joining, and there was only 2 members that were chosen to join yourself and Andy and Gary Inhofe to listen to all of the proposals that these 4 firms made. So none of the other facility planning committee members they don't even know what criteria to use, I think they need to be part of the process.
Well, we discussed that because to have more than 5 members, I'm quite well versed at doing consultant selections. I've got many years of experience, and we made that decision at the meeting. I think you were in attendance sitting next to me at the audience. You made a decision that we were not going to have a large group. You don't want any more than 5 people on an interview panel. You're not going to have 9, 12 people on that committee. That doesn't work out. That's too many cooks in the kitchen, frankly.
Right, but my point.
So if you want to do the motion, you can, but I don't want to call it a feel-good motion, but that's already been legally passed last Tuesday. Or
Brenda, could we amend your motion to include language that says that we will hire the 2 people to do the testing and the report, but we do not authorize any money spent on marketing or campaigning to support the referendum.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that can be done.
Is there, excuse me, is there a time frame? I mean, you're saying ever?
No.
I'm willing to vote it on again, but
At the next town meeting or at the next facility?
I mean, this is the only time it could be, I'm very naive, excuse me. My understanding is this would be the only time we could vote on that resolution without it being on an agenda and published ahead of time. But my intent and my amendment to her motion would be just to prevent any money being spent to further the process other than getting the raw information. We don't want to.
Hold on.
Yeah, I guess, my concern is, so I was on facility committee, I was not involved in the selection. But now I'm on board, and I have been given, actually somebody else gave me a printed copy today, otherwise I had an email a couple of days ago. And I'm reading through and I don't understand, I mean, this is a like 40-page document. And having not been in on that interview selection, I'm not sure what we're agreeing to. I would like a little more time. If I'm gonna sit on a board, I'd like a little more time. I don't want us to stop. I want us to move forward. So, it'd be nice if we could, I read through and I said, I know we were going for feasibility study, and analyze the building. But when I read through this, it looks like there's a lot more in there, and it's like, I don't want us to go too fast and then have to backtrack. I really like us, and I think that is kind of Brenda's intention, is to move forward with the analysis, approve that, but like John said, not to spend any money past that. Because, we don't know that this company is gonna be the ones that build or remodel. So, really, it's a step-by-step process, and the first step is the study. Does that?
Can I comment?
Sure.
Gary, do you have a copy of the RFP?
Oh, my truck, I do.
Okay, because the RFP is very specific about that.
Yeah.
The RFP was formed by the facility
I got
development committee.
You guys signed up.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused because this committee told us what to do, and that's why we did what we did. And now I'm hearing otherwise. I'm actually really confused. We got too many people right now. The next, I'll get you, Gabrielle was the next person that had her hand up.
I'm part of the facility committee, and facility committee, we had agreed that we would select somebody to do the initial assessment, but not the referendum. So originally, there would be one part which is the assessment, and then we will decide what needs to be moving forward and what not. So just as Brenda and Carol said, we will move forward in steps, one step at a time. So with Brenda and Carol's suggestion that we go forward with Hayward Cross Anderson to do the facility assessment, and then we will have another decision to be making how who and how and if a referendum is going to be done. And that's what we were saying, Gary, I think that we take out the referendum portion of the motion.
But that's exactly what was approved last week, like step one. Not the referendum, that's what it was just.
I think what gets confusing, Gary, was that you mentioned the referendum, that you do the referendum. I think that needs to be clarified, that we do not have the referendum as part of the process.
We don't even have to do a referendum. The referendum is not legally required. This board could decide, we look at the facility report and we might see, they're gonna rank it just like they did the school. It's gonna be a repair replace type thing. It's gonna be a quantified report, industry accepted standards on it.
It's just perception, Gary. I think it's perception, and you pull out the word referendum, everybody here thinks the referendum is being made and is approved. So you could just take this out of the motion and just go with the first portion. I think everybody understands what we're doing.
So, the facility commission assessments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, so as far as I understand, better than first of all, we have an RFP going here. No one's I'm confused why we're all talking about referendums. I mean, we're looking at an assessment of our buildings, as far as I know. Brenda, I guess I'm partially confused as to what motion you're making here, because again, as far as I know, we have an RFP. Nobody's talking referendum or any amounts of money. We don't even know what's happening yet. So I guess I'm confused at this limiting stuff based on referendum, because I don't know why we're quite doing that quite yet.
So in this 40-page packet, it says lump sum for planning services, 6,500. Lump sum for referendum services included in the planning services lump sum listed above.
Okay, now that is documentation, this is from Cross Anderson, right?
Yes.
Or-
But we
So
don't
that's
have
where
a
the
contract.
referendum-
That's when we have a referendum, right? Or
If we have a.
okay, so it's so far in the future right now, that I'm just confused that we're talking about.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be addressing the side board. I should be talking to you, Joe, you should be talking to you.
Yes. And, spoiling? Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Karen Boylan, I'm secretary for the facility planning committee. But they're talking about the first phase of the RFP that we interviewed for companies.
do this RFP. And the facility plan committee recommended to the board to only do 1A of the study and management services, scope of services. And that's to manage the overall planning and processes for projects. And A is assist with the study and phase for developing master plan. Part of that is 1, complete a detailed facility study of maintenance needs, facility condition analysis with MEP analysis and grounds analysis. 2, analyze site constraints and solutions. 3, determine building space adequacy needs. 4, utilize existing space program for remodel or new spaces. 5, determine project pricing and pricing options. And 6, high-level project scheduling phase. And then below that it says, if the board approves the project to move forward into design, the following may be required. And then that's what it talks about.
Yeah, and that's, someone here said, here you have our XRP with Karen just read off, that's what we sent out to our consultants.
That same exact thing.
That's exactly what,
I've never, I've seen this.
but that's exactly what that's exactly what the facility plan committee asked us to set up.
And so can you clarify exactly what this contract would be?
I don't have they don't have a contract yet, but what was sent out, what Karen just wrote, is exactly what we were directed as a board when the facility planning committee sent out. That's exactly what we sent out. I'm very confused. What is it? Where is the confusion, Carol? What we sent out,
I know
that portion right there.
You said you were working on the RFP with John Question. You were working on it, getting it printed out, getting it written up. I mean, if it's this exact language,
That's what we discussed at the meeting.
but I never saw an RFP. I never saw the actual RFP that went out to individuals.
Okay, that's
I
what the
don't
RFP said.
know, if you say it said exactly that, then it did, but I've never seen it. And now I have a contract that says, included in planning services lump sum is a referendum services.
They also have their, that's true. They also have their fee if we go on to construction. But it's quite clear in our RFP that we're not going, we're going for, just like Gabrielle said, we're going for the first phase. Now, I'll just, go ahead.
Marilyn Loader. I think we might be splitting hairs here, but what I heard you say a few minutes ago was that you have the contract, you haven't signed it because it was a matter of logistics.
I
So
don't
my-
have the contract.
Okay, so my question is, so you haven't seen it?
I haven't even seen it.
Okay, so what I think what we're concerned about is that the contract that is signed is either it's for the facility,
So we only approved them at last week's meeting.
right, so what I'm saying is,
Step 1.
rather than, it almost sounded, and I'm not, because you were talking about the referendums,
Yeah.
Cross Anderson had gotten this and that through, it kind of sounded like, okay, we're gonna do the whole spiel, and that's, okay. So if you could just back up and just tell us
So
what it's going to include,
it's gonna include an analysis
Yeah.
of the
like you
facility.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing about referendum, we're not taking the money, okay.
These
That's
firms,
the
these firms all, when we got the four proposals, and it's unfortunate that not everyone could be on, and Brenda and Carol were supervisors elect, but they weren't on the board yet, so I couldn't have them come to the meeting because it was closed session, confidentiality for trade secrets, et cetera, so you can't just have an open meeting with consultants coming in and out. So, that's why they couldn't come, because I was asked if they could attend, and I respectfully told them they couldn't because of that. But every consultant gave their total package out, like they said, okay, this is what we'll do for the analysis, this is what we'll do for referendum, and this is the fee we're gonna charge if you approve this, and we go to this, and this gets approved. So A, B to C, okay? They all included it in there. So, but just because, Market Johnson says they're gonna charge 3.75%. That doesn't mean we're signing a contract for that. It's just to let us know going forward. This is what Kraus charges for their construction notices. This is what Northwest Builders, and they all did it. Every one of them was the same. So unfortunately, I can't share that because it was closed session information. I can't share that information other than to tell you that that's what it was.
I think the motion would be satisfied if you take the referendum out of that you're only really going for the services of the analysis and of the grounds of the facility, did not have the referendum included in the wording. I think that would satisfy everybody actually.
That's what we approved.
But that's what the food say for the dollar amount of $11,500.
Right.
Which would be that first phase of that.
No, that was, that,
This is
You're
a
right.
signature page.
that isn't the contract.
So this isn't the contract.
No.
So,
They're gonna be coming up here, they haven't confirmed with me, but Kraus Anderson wants a joint meeting next Tuesday between the Facility Plan Commission and our five-member board. So these questions that we have, we can ask them, and if we need to find, there is no contract that I haven't seen yet. I guess my hope is they're gonna come up with a contract, and they're gonna do I don't wanna say a meet and greet, but just kind of give, they did mention the timetable, kind of give us what their idea is, how they're gonna proceed, how the process works. Go ahead, John.
Do you want me to further restate your motion with any amendments you wish to add?
Make a motion to grant the town Hayward board power to sign a contract or contracts to have a facility assessment on all current structures and soil condition assessment completed in 2024 and remove any wording referencing referendums in this process. This comprehensive analysis may require the need for 2 separate companies or individuals to be contracted to complete the analytical evaluation of all structures and the detailed soil analysis of the grounds.
I second the motion.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second.
It's not an authorized grant. You already-
Okay.
It's not a power, that's power.
Okay, so some of the things that come out here are advisory only. This would be advisory only, but I can tell you we would take it under considerable serious advisement. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with what's been said tonight. It's all part of the process. The first step, and I think everyone in this room agrees, the first step is a facility analysis. Then from there, we determine if we want to go to a referendum. From there, we determine, or if the public determines, if we're gonna be doing something with the structure. But I think everyone here agrees, like you mentioned, Marilyn, I think it's just the same thing being said a different way. I think we're all on the same page.
I do have one other question to you here. You told me that the boring of the soil is a different cost,
Yeah,
and who would be doing that?
we wouldn't know, we don't know. There's very few companies that do boring, Coleman Engineering, Iron Mountain, Michigan, they do it. So the soil borings are separate from any, so none of the firms we interviewed, even any of the 6 firms that we sent out to, none of them have in-house soil analysis people. They don't have, it's a complex thing, it's a drilling rig. They go down so far, they go through, geologists looking through, determining what the soils. And we know there's organic matter here because it's sawdust. So that's a good point, Brenda. That'll be in addition to anything that Kraus Anderson does.
Would then the current board, 5-member board, and the facility planning committee go over all of that information that we would receive from whoever does the boring sample, and then Kraus Anderson, and then present that to the public?
I don't think that's usually the way it works. I don't think you go over the borings. I think that when the borings are done, I think, so Kraus Anderson has someone who's a structural analysis, someone designated that. They will go and they'll say, okay, we need borings done. They're gonna go and contract with a separate third party, have the borings done. Those borings will presented to the Kraus-Anderson profession. I mean, can we look at them? Yeah, we can, but I don't think that means anything to
Yes,
anyone.
my point is what can we do from there? What does the soil analysis tell us? What's the conclusion?
That's where the experts are gonna go, so.
But is that meeting going to be open to the public is what I'm saying?
No, it won't be a meeting with us, it'll be Kraus talking to, they're gonna give a report to us, and it's gonna say, your soils are substandard. Here's why they're substandard. At a level from 0 to 5 feet, you have organic matter. From 6 feet to 9 feet, you have this. We don't get involved in that, that's my plan. We have a firm we're hiring, and that's what we're asking them. That's what we're paying for.
Yeah, I think that they're just not including the boring cost, that'd be additional money, but they're still gonna kind of do it. They're gonna make it all happen.
They're gonna hire the contractor, just so everyone knows. They all have firms that they like to work with, and like I said, they're very few and far between up here in North Wisconsin. We have to go over to Michigan to get one, so that's what we have.
I think the
Yes, Jeff.
I think the question for the public might be, is when we get the analysis back, are we going to be informed of what the analysis says? That the analysis says, okay, you need to tear everything down because it's falling down, which is definitely an option. Or if it says, okay, we can keep such and such building, but we need to repair certain things. That, I think, where the public wants to be involved in that discussion.
Well, that would be given out, yes, that would be done.
Facility committee would discuss that, I believe.
Yeah, facility committee would go to facility committee. Facility committee, something like that would probably be uploaded to our website, which you can go on the facility plan committee, and go on there, you can, look at the information, I'm sure will be on there. But it would definitely be a topic of discussion.
If they decide that they want to go to publishing an article in the paper, that is up to the facility committee.
Correct.
They have a budget, so.
Yeah.
And the facilities committee has made a commitment to more open and transparent communication to everybody. And I think we've seen some of it already by meetings being published on the radio, meetings being published in the paper. So I think we see some of that already happening. And I'm on the committee, and I'm pledged to keep the communication up to everybody.
Does anyone have anything else on the facility? Any other topics for discussion? What's that?
We are in a second, before we change subjects, we do have
It's not, you can't take the vote. Our legal said you can't act, it's just.
It's under advisory.
It's under advisory.
There's only certain things that we can vote on.
Yes, John.
John is back again. Earlier, it sounded like you were saying that you did not need a referendum to replace the buildings or to spend that money. Is that correct?
That's correct. Of course, I would never do something like that.
Is
But legally, you don't have to, you don't have.
I understand, so your position is you don't need a referendum now. Is it legal for us to vote that you would need a referendum to spend over X number of dollars? That would be addressed to our
Yeah, that would also be advisory. So Ken, you already own the building. You're not authorizing them to purchase the building. There's not an authorization that you can make to require a referendum. That's just set by statute.
So if we were to build a new building, could they
No.
already say authorize the board to spend money to build a new building?
So back in 2018, 2019, we could have just gone and built a new structure. I was on the board then, I wouldn't be any part of that. I think it should be the will of the people and what the people want. We went to referendum, it failed by a 2-to-1 margin. So,
So if I made a motion to make the board required to hold a referendum before they spend in excess of $2 million, that would be my motion. I don't know if we can make it. You know, vote on that?
You can authorize the town to construct, lease, or purchase a building, but that's
where that authority stops. Thank you for the clarification.
Makes sense.
Can you clarify, the meeting next Tuesday, is at 6?
They haven't confirmed yet, Carol. The firm hasn't confirmed with me. I made 2 phone calls, so I left voicemails. It's supposed to be at April 23rd at 6 PM is when it's supposed to be. Our alternate date was April 22nd to 7, so we're open on next Tuesday at 6 o'clock PM. It'll be noticed as a regular board meeting, so it'll be open to the public if anyone so chooses to attend. Facility Plan Commission will be there, and the town board will also be present.
And it is an open meeting.
It's an open meeting. The only reason that one meeting was closed was because of, we could very well have a consultant come in, sitting in the back over there while I listen to this consultant. And then they walk out, and this one says, oh yeah, we can do that even better than them. Yeah, that doesn't work that way, so. Anything else? Can we move on? Go ahead.
Can we go past the facility part right now?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, if there's anything else.
Cindy Lane is my name, and I have 2 things. They're both in the interest of better communication with us to you and you us. Number 1 is, can we get a separate email address for each person?
We are working on it.
Pardon?
We're working on it.
Perfect. And second, can we get more things on the website? And I would even volunteer my time to
We
do
have
that.
a brand new website that's just what our year will have.
Perfect.
It's gonna be way more accessible.
Perfect.
Okay, so. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to bring up a question on the town transfer station. Where, I go there about once a week. And there seems to be a lot of confusion on what can actually be recycled. There's really nothing there, there's no information on the current website. What can be recycled? I'm sure that there must be additional costs. Say, for example, I've seen people throw ceramic in there, and that's got to be separated. So I would think that the facility that's, trying to use this recycled stuff has to spend more money to deal with stuff that shouldn't be there. It seemed to be a benefit and cost to get more of the right stuff in and less of the wrong stuff.
Okay. So you would make a note of that?
There is a really nice brochure that they have, and it's supposed to be in a theater sometimes or available, but it has been financed for about a number of years costs. And I get it.
Yeah, I've asked at the transfer station for information.
They didn't have that on.
They have not.
I do know some people had mentioned that brochure, they were handed it. And one friend of mine was from another town during his older public service, he went over and they gave him something.
Okay. If it was on the website, it would be.
It is on the website. The brochure, all that information is on the
Go
website.
ahead, Andy.
The reason they're not handing them out at the transfer site is that I was just recently told this weekend that we're out, we don't have any more, we have no.
No, that's not, we're changing the prices as of June 1st.
Right.
We're doing more state. Here's some right here, it shows. Yeah. Brochure.
So there's a lot going on with the transfer
young man asking?
Yes,
station.
thank you. Are these available here?
With their, an older, they're gonna be updated with new prices and. Okay? I believe that this, everything on it, that you can recycle.
I'll check it out tomorrow. I go once a week too, so I go once a week. I've never paid attention to it, but Mr. Duders thinks that there's actually a listing of items on the door for the recycled,
I haven't seen it.
compactor. Anyone else have anything? Yes, John?
I would just like to thank everybody for coming tonight and remind you to bring somebody else with you next time you have this. We can build the room a little better. And they'll also like to thank the board and the highway department, police and fire for all the work they've done last year. It's been a pretty good year, you know, past experience.
Okay, our next agenda item is setting, oh, sorry.
I don't know if this is the right place, but I live on Risbrook Road, and my internet speed is free. That's my download speed. My upload speed is like 0.2, and I work from home, and I have CenturyLink. And so I've tried everything aside from satellite, which doesn't work because of the distance you're running. I've tried Verizon, I've tried T-Mobile, I've tried Nirvana. I told CenturyLink, I'll pay for you to come from the highway to my house and give me a line. And I was told by the repair person, CenturyLink could care less about us. They are not going to put any more money into us. And so my whole road, we have no speed. I'm at a standstill, so I talked to Nirvana and they said, you should go to your town and ask them to look into options. I don't know if anyone else has that issue or is it just us on Risbrook Road. I know in CenturyLink they updated. People in Twin Lakes have faster speed, people in Stone Lake, people in Nelson Lake right up past me have faster speed than I do 2 miles from town. So it's just frustrating because I have done everything I personally can to research it, to find an option, and it impacts my ability to work, though my employer is being very generous, but it's just frustrating because if I lived in the town, the city of Hayward, I have lots of options, and I can't get any other physical option. I tried the internet, Starlink is super expensive, I'm sorry, but I can't afford Starlink, like, it's like 120 a month, and then to set it up is like it's expensive. So for me, as a person who lives and probably has a median income in Hayward, that's not doable. I mean, I pay $45 a month for CenturyLink, which if I lived somewhere else, I could get speeds up to 40 for $45 a month, but because I don't live in their place, and when they came through 2 years ago and they updated, they had that grant from the government, they were supposed to do it, they skipped our road. They just decided, I think personally, that there weren't enough people on my road, it's dead end road, and they weren't going to invest in it.
You're exactly
And so
right.
we got screwed out of that money that the government said, we're supposed to all have high-speed internet access by the law about that. Yes, no. I don't know where mine is, because a speed of 3 is ridiculous. Like, no one can function on a speed of 3.
So if you look at these broadband grants, everyone hears about, they're all nice. So the town, we can't do anything unless we have a provider who's willing to be our grant, and they don't want it because of what you just said. They're in it to make money, profit, so they don't see any reason for them to go through and go for a grant and get service down Risbrook Road that has, 60?
Yeah, no, I agree.
know-
I just do what they, like Romano said, to talk to the town to see if there's something that's town to talk about, maybe approach that and say, we're interested in trying to get our town people to have super slow speeds. I mean, I live right off 63. I live like 500 feet off 63, and I know that Romano is working its way down to New York from 63, but it's trying to get to me, and so I don't know, I just am taking the opportunity because that was my last ditch effort to say, I have no idea how that would work, but they said go to the town, so that's what I'm doing. So,
Can I just suggest that maybe what we need as a township, maybe we need to have a committee or a commission of people who would say for sure they'll get together, they will discuss these items because the county is supposed to be discussing this. The state has thrown a lot of money at it, so where's Hayward? Yeah, I have super speed, I'm across the street. This corridor right here is wonderful. A few miles up that way, not so much. So, yeah, because they say they can't cross the bridge, am I right? There's something about they can't cross the bridge or something? Yeah.
We need to send somebody from the town to town board
or even one of the committees to talk about that, because that's where we got the stuff out to Liz, or out to Draper, and stuff like that, saying somebody from here needs to go there.
Go to the county
Champion,
board.
well, it's a public.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, I work there, so they're not going to
I
I don't know.
Because I remember when that grant money came through and somebody contacted and it almost made them mad and they like wouldn't call us. You know, it would have been nice if that money would have been, you know, if you get so many people hooked up or increased, that they would have gotten some money back, but they took the money. And then, you know, people like you never got any service out of it. So it was, the money was dished out, but it went to where more populated areas rather than the places that really needed it.
Well, actually, not to the areas where the contractors were willing to do it. Like we had the one down on F, down in Edgewater. I can't think of the name of that company. We had one out east, but they have, it isn't just the town saying, boy, we want this. You have to get buy-in from a contractor.
Yeah, but the thing is that's the interesting part is that Nervado, I have a friend who lives outside of Drummond in the Schwalmke Forest. And Nervado laid their fiber optic in 2018 when Obama gave the money. They did the work, but such really didn't. And I think it's because you have the city of Hayward, right, and then the town of Hayward, like think how we're all around it and we're very thin, like little roads. They don't bother with this because it's not worth their time. So that's the thing. CenturyLink was the problem, not the contractors. Like Nervado, I don't know if they want to allow or whatever. Like no one can compete with me at my house. There's no competition. I can get no one else.
Question, you use cable TV? Spectrum?
No, Spectrum, Charter,
You don't even have that.
nobody. I have to stream all my operators. I can't get anything. So. And my neighbors have Verizon internet, like the, you know, none of us have a speed that we can do everything. So you have the options, and there's no availability with even the cell phones now, because we have so many people live up here that now we're maxed out with cell phone availability. So, you know, I'm on the bandwagon too late to catch. So.
Did you say Nervado as the one that asked, that said that, okay.
I know that their time is cheap.
It sounds like the power of Nevada passes the money down the line. They're looking for a grant. If you got these other grants coming, maybe you can pay them. But other than that, you
Yeah, I know what Sawyer County did, they used a portion of their ARPA funds, because when the ARPA funds were first released, there were certain criteria that only could be used for this, or this, and that was one of them, so a lot of hands shot up. Edgewater did one, Denver did one, I think there was one more than one. So, I'll look with, where's the, I'll check with, Arvado, I don't know anyone up there anymore, but I'll make a line phone call.
And I just appreciate just any help, like I know you guys can't solve it, but I'm kind of lost, so I'm looking for some help.
When the meeting's over, can you come up and give me your time?
Yep.
Gary, I'd like to add that I do believe that there's more grant money that is being put into these funds. So I hold it and say to you too, this PPO gets the oil, because at our resort, it's at a dead end. 8 years, I kind of did my own lobbying. They laid my fiber optics last October, and I was so thrilled. And now they're telling me they're not gonna hook us up for maybe a year or two more. But they finally laid it, so it's a process. And I will be willing to work with Gary on that too.
Do you have something?
When we set the date for the next year's meeting, I think we.
No, that's what we're gonna do right now, set date for 2025 annual meeting. Yes, Debbie.
I'd like to find out if Fairway Drive can be built where it's supposed to be.
For what?
Fairway Drive, right away, 975 on Fairway Drive, needs to be the wrong place. It's been in the wrong place, it's been a problem that I've had for a long time. And it was brought up several years ago when they finally got everything surveyed and done right, stating that the right of way on my side of the road is 10 to 20 inches. And I'd like to find out what I have to do to see if we can move it where it's supposed to be.
Rob, you have any comments on that? It'd be quite an expensive project, because the whole road bed, you'd have to redo the whole road bed, and you couldn't have a kink, you'd have to go all the way down to a corner. And that'd be
It's
a lot.
all the way down.
What, you know, if everyone can hear, what happened is years ago, actually, I'm gonna blame it on the DOT, because that's who did it. The DOT, when they redid the highway, they didn't align the roadway, right? And it's like many times, the center line of the road is right on a property line, and it's either an easement or fee title, ownership, it varies. They've got everything crowded over towards Debbie Freeman's side of the road. So she's literally got 10 to 20 inches of right of way that the town currently has because of how this plat is laid out. And I reviewed it on DOT drawings many years ago. So that would be a Rob question, if we could look into it. But I'm gonna be quite honest with you, it's gonna be very cost prohibitive.
That's what I figured. The only thing I ever asked is when I sued down the trees being
I
cut down,
remember, I was on
is
the
that
board.
they plow up some snow on the other side of the road. And every year, I have to call several times to make sure that they've already plowed on the side of the road to plow on the other side.
Rob had this conversation, he's aware of it.
But it'll solve the problem, it's smooth the road. And there's, right now, as far as I know, there's a garage built right on the right. So, I mean, it's something simple. But I mean, I'm tired of calling up all the time, and having to argue with people, being told that I know what I'm talking about. Or is this written down, you have it written down on a sheet of paper? You guys know, and you know especially,
Yeah, I've seen
that's
it.
what it is.
Okay. Item number 7 is set the meeting date for 2025.
I'll make a motion that we have it on the third Wednesday of 2025, which will be April 16th.
Okay? April 16th.
Next Wednesday?
Third Wednesday.
5:30 p.m.?
Can it be later or
Yeah, do whatever time you want.
7 p.m.? Instead of 5:30? Can we split it? Can we do like a 6?
6 is the other.
I'll take the third Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Okay, so we've got a motion, we have a second. Second, we have a motion and a second to set the 2025 annual meeting for the third Wednesday, which falls on April 16th, 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. All, we need a vote on this, so, how do you guys want to vote? We can have you, hands, you can have them stand up.
Whatever gonna be easiest to count.
Let's, is everyone okay if we do a show of hands? What's that? 6 o'clock on April 16th, 2025.
What's your success?
No, she amended it to 6. John seconded it. So, what's that? Discuss. Yeah, no, I understand.
The reason I ask is tonight is the county board meeting, and that happens twice a year in Pleasant. And a lot of us would have liked to have been at the county board meeting tonight, and that is always the third Tuesday. So if we have our annual meeting the third Wednesday, we can partake in our county business also.
Tonight is organizational.
Yes.
Okay, so can we get a show of hands? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, how are we gonna count this?
I just count off.
Three.
We have to actually ask this. Okay, opposed? Opposed? Opposed is 0.
Thank you.
All right. Set the motion to adjourn. Mrs. Schultz?
Yeah.
Okay. So got motion second, we are adjourned at 6:25 PM. Thank you everyone for coming. And we come up to